And to them, it doesn't matter if they're a superhero or a supervillain. It really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's super, and they're super. Both of them are super. And you know what that means? That means it's like having the excuse of saying something like, I was bitten by a radioactive spider. So you know what that means? That means I should be able to rob a bank or sell bootleg Taylor Swift albums out of the trunk of my car at one of her shows. And, for the younger generation, an album, you may have to Google that, because that's just it's like an ancient form of recording music and listening to music. It's probably not the best metaphor. I should probably rethink that. I should have spent more time on this. And what about this myth? What about this myth that hurt people hurt people? Is it even a myth, or is it a reality when we're dealing with narcissism? And because what is the truth? The truth is that not everyone who's been hurt turns into a narcissistic hurting machine. Many traumatized people are like real-life superheroes, exhibiting even more compassion, more empathy, and more of a conscious and a bigger awareness of their own place in the world. And yet, for these hurt people, that's not the case. And we start to wonder, it's like, are they actually choosing to hurt people and to hurt others? Because the people that have been hurt and turn around and become even more compassionate, well, they kind of take the mindset of, I went through hell, and I'll be damned if I drag others around with me. Like, that's noble, that's real. And here's the difference. The narcissist went through hell, and then what they want to do is bring more people with them. Like, that's evil, and you can see the difference. Both are hurt people, but their response to the hurt are two different things. And I would love to just kind of package everything up into a pretty little poem and a little package and just say, here's the causes of the narcissistic personality disorder. But unfortunately, I can't, because it's really complicated. Think of it as like a web of intrigue. The causes of narcissistic personality disorder is just like a jigsaw puzzle that's missing a few pieces, and no one has a clear picture of what the actual causes are. It turns out to be this weird, cosmic cocktail of biological predisposition and environmental factors, where nature and nurture are just kind of, always just locked in this eternal dance. And as soon as, science or PhDs or doctors of this and that start to look closer, it's almost like, it's like, when you have that weird noise in your car and you go to a mechanic and then they pop the hood and you're paying them $150 an hour. And all of a sudden your car's running perfectly in that moment. They just listen and they don't hear anything. A lot of times that's kind of a similar case to just narcissistic people. You can point out all these traits. And then when they're actually being diagnosed, and they can just kind of, act normal for long enough, and they can pass whatever, personality test that they're undergoing. But regardless of all of that, I don't want any of that stuff to be too confusing, because, all of it is part of cracking the code on narcissism. And, we touched into, genes, brains, the choices where everything kind of intersects: environment, people, connections. And I'm sorry if we're following the story as if it's like a movie, and finally we get to the ending, and it's just there's not a satisfying ending there. Like, are you following me so far?